Drug product cases are cases that involve a drug that we learn is now causing more damage to the person than it's benefiting the person. And they come out in little waves. Usually a drug starts out approved by the FDA. Then what happens is that the FDA starts to see some sort of a pattern of problems. Let's say Fosamax cases where it's supposed to build up a woman's bones, and now they find that it's destroying their jaw bones and their jaws are just kind of falling apart. We bring those cases, and a lot of them are class action lawsuits. We look to see, what the injuries are, what the pattern of the injuries are. I take lectures twice a year on mass tort cases to find out what's on the horizon, what cases are on the screen, so to speak, going forward, to try to have my clients aware of these drugs and make sure that they're highly alert about them. And then if, God forbid, there is a problem that somebody develops that are common, then we will bring or join into probably a mass class action. There's a window of opportunity on a class action to join in. And at a certain point, that window will close and you can't. You may have the opportunity to bring your own separate lawsuit, but that's very difficult because usually in these drug cases, you're talking about bringing in maybe a dozen experts on a case. The defense has tried these cases throughout the country, so they have their own dog and pony show lined up. And that's why the courts really push for you to join into the class action. And when you're in a class action, what it means is that you're in a case that has similar injuries and similar liability. So the judge will try maybe one or two of those cases and have the findings passed down, the liability findings, to the whole class of people. There were doctors that were noticing that with people taking Vioxx, which was basically a drug for arthritis, similar to like a Motrin, that their people were having heart attacks and dying. And little by little, articles started to be written in the medical journals saying, has anybody else noticed that when you give your otherwise healthy patient this Vioxx, that they suddenly have cardiac incidents? When the Vioxx cases came, there was a window of opportunity for people to join in those cases. And then after a certain point, the judge's goal is to resolve the case. And when he resolves the case, he needs to have some sort of a finish to it so that the carrier knows that represents the drug companies, well, we're going to pay this money and that's it. We're not going to keep paying and paying. So once that window's closed, then you can't join in. And in the case of Vioxx, it's taken off the market because obviously they know that there's a problem. Yasmin is a birth control drug now that's there's class action suits that also cause some cardiac situations with the patients and clotting and blood clots. Fosamax is another one where these horrific things are happening. They're opposite what they expected. Avandia is another drug that these cases are, class action is still open.